Hey guys, welcome to my fifth video on history. This is a section or chapter in a way from world history. We go to the great empire of Mongols. Mongolia, what am I saying? The Mongolian Empire, basically. And I just want to mention something. Alfred Thayer Mahan, a U.S. admiral, general, Navy person said every empire, every great empire needs to have a strong navy, and we don't really see that in Mongolia. But I just wanted to add that as a side note as to refute his quote in a way. Okay, sorry for that tangent, but I'm going back to Mongolia. The Mongolian tribes are located in northeastern Asia. Now, the tribes are very scattered. You have tribes like the Karakitai and others, various tribes, but they're not important. The main thing is that a leader rose, Temujin, out of the tribes, and he was later called, as many people know, Genghis Khan or Chinggis Khan or the Great Khan. And Khan in Mongolian means emperor or ruler or uniter as people. And we see this because Genghis Khan united the Mongolian troops into one. And he produced a horde so great that even the empires of India, China, and almost Japan couldn't withstand him. Now, so we are finished with how Genghis Khan, sorry, not finished. Genghis Khan reunified, or unified actually, in fact, the Mongolian tribes by showing them that with their power, with their expertise, because each Mongolian warrior kept a stable of horses, which meant that he was very well trained in horsemanship, because as you know, or as you might not know, Mongolia is a region with steppes, and steppes are basically hills and plains and like wide rolling pastures where horses are the best way to travel. Well, now it's cars, but back then it was horses rather than walking or running or whatever. So yeah, Genghis Khan united the tribes into one cohesive unit, and it was a force terrible. I mean, it's actually called the Horde of Genghis Khan, and like when armies used to see this, they used to flee in fear. And all right, now on to probably the most important part of the Mongolian legacy is their army. The army consisted of cavalry archers, and cavalry, and obviously infantry, but the cavalry archers are probably the most prominent militaristic units of their empire. Mongolian cavalry archers used to use hit and run tactics. Today we know them as guerrilla tactics, which is basically to hit the enemy and to run back. Not run, but to gallop back. And while galloping, there was something called Parthian tactics, which they got from the empires of Persia and those places. But the archer would shoot at the person while his horse is retreating. Now, as you can imagine, that takes great amount of expertise in riding the horse and learning how to shoot a bow. And I just want to mention the places which Mongolia captured now. China under Kublai Khan, which is probably the most well-known of the Mongolian conquest. The Khanate of China, the Khanate of India, the Khanate of Hungary, the Khanate of Europe. Well, they didn't fully conquer Europe. I think they were stopped by Charlemagne, but don't hold me to this because I'm not sure. But that's not really that important. And they almost got the Khanate of Japan, but they were stopped by a kamikaze. And in fact, when people say kamikaze, they think of World War II suicide bombers who dived their planes into American Navy. But kamikazes means the divine wind, not a suicide bomber gone astray. I mean, So just to clarify that for people, kamikaze means divine wind, and they invoke this from the Mongolian times when they were saved by a divine storm that wrecked the Mongolian ships. And this is why I'm saying the Mongolians did not have a strong navy, as I mentioned in the beginning, because they were wrecked. And it's actually funny because my history teacher said that, well, Alfred Therman is right because the Mongolian Empire wasn't the greatest empire. But when you look at the landmass they covered, it was the most extensive in history. And then we reach a period after all these conquests, and after Genghis Khan dies, after Ogedai Khan dies, after everybody dies, even after Tamerlane or Timur the Lenk and Subutai Khan dies, we reach a period called Pax Mongolia. And Pax in Latin, as many of you know, from Pax Romana, means peace. So the Mongolian era of peace and prosperity and trade. And in fact, it is during this time which we get the concept of passports, or Khan issued certificates of travel, which basically let people go from one Khanate to another Khanate. Think of the Khanates kind of as states. They're, sorry, not states, but their own separate nations, but under the emperor, the Great Khan, which he was called. And it's not only the title for Genghis Khan, but it was the title for a lot of Khans, the Great Khan, because he was the great emperor, and he was the great uniter, the great conqueror, and all that. And so the Mongolian Empire lasted fairly for a long time, and they had an extensive land holdings, and they were, in my opinion, one of the greatest empires ever, and especially in their ways of using fire-tipped arrows, harnessing the power of fire to use it as a potential weapon. It is something like what we used as napalm, which is actually Greek fire, but it's a way of using a weapon to inflict incendiary damage on cities, people, anything. And yeah, so the Mongolian people were great, and they were terrifying. I mean, people call them barbarians, but I consider them more as conquerors. And in a way, conquerors do deserve something. And another thing I briefly want to mention is the Mongolian system of lenience, because when they conquered a nation or a place, they didn't really enforce their religion on the conquered people. They just asked, if you practice something else, you just have to pay tax. And this was in many cases alright. And in fact, many Mongolians converted, like Kublai Khan, he converted to Islam, and they were very open. So it was a great empire. Yeah, that's the Mongolian Empire, and I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and I hope this fills in some of the gaps in which your teacher might not have filled. And after this video, I'll probably do a US history video, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.